Hey guys, in this tutorial we will deploy ASP.NET Core web application to Azure using Azure DevOps. Before we start, there are some prerequisites to complete this tutorial. You need Azure DevOps organization. If you don't have, just go to dev.azure.com and create your organization. And second thing, you would require the Azure subscription because we have to deploy a sample application to Azure. The third thing is .NET Core CLI, which we'll use to create a sample application. If you are happy with the Visual Studio Code, you can use that as well. Let's go to command prompt and create a sample application. Before that, when you would require a project in your DevOps organization. I happen to have a couple of project. I'm gonna use this YouTube project. If you don't have any project and you freshly created your organization, just go to your organization, click on the new project, give the project name, select the visibility of the project and click on create. When we create a new project, Azure DevOps will automatically create a default repository with the project name. So as you can see, my project name is YouTube, and I have the YouTube repository. But let's we can create a unlimited repository within the project. So let's go ahead and create a new repository. I'll name this repository .NET Core app, and we will add a gitignore file. Gitignore file will help us to avoid unnecessary file when we commit the changes. So I'm just gonna select the Visual Studio gitignore file. Just click on create and it will give us our new repository. Let's clone this repository on our local machine, and then we will create a sample application and push the files to this particular repository. Click on the clone button and just grab the clone URL. Open the command prompt, or you can use PowerShell as well. I'll just open, I'll use the native Windows command prompt and go to okay, I'll clone this particular repository. Just type git clone and paste the URL. If you are doing this for the first time, you might get a pop-up with the authentication. You have to enter your Microsoft account username and password, but in my case I'm already authenticated. That's why it just cloned the repository for me. I'm gonna navigate to this particular folder, and if I do a directory listing, we'll see we have a gitignore file over there. Now let's use .NET CLI to create a sample application. I'll use .NET new, and I'll say I need a MVC starter template. Give it a few minutes, it will create all the required files, and we can test whether the application is running using .NET run command. Let's see whether the application is successfully running or not. We can just grab this particular URL and go to our browser and just paste it. As you can see, we have a very simple ASP.NET starter web application, and for this purpose this application will fulfill our need. So let's commit all the changes and we are going to push this files to our remote repository. I'll say git commit. Before that we have to add all the files. I'll say git add dot and git commit give a message, add sample .NET Core app, and we have to push the changes to remote server. Once this is done, we can go to our repository and just click on refresh, and we should see all of our changes. As you can see, we have controllers, model, and view, and all the respective files. Now there are two steps to deploy our changes to Azure. First, we have to create a build pipeline, which is also called as a CI pipeline, and another one is the release pipeline, which is also called as CD pipeline. So let's go to build. If you already have a build, it will show up here. But if you have created a project, if you're freshly starting, you have to click on the new pipeline. There are a couple of options which Azure DevOps is asking us. Where is your code? So we can connect the GitHub and Bitbucket as well, or any other generic Git repositories, but as our code reside in the Azure DevOps, we are going to select Azure repository for Git. So far we only have one repository. If you have multiple repository, it's gonna list here and we can select it. Just click on this .NET Core app repository. Azure DevOps will automatically scan our repository and suggest us the starter template for the building that particular application. As we created a ASP.NET Core application, it is suggesting us like this is the template which will have all the steps to build this particular project. But what we will do, we will just select the starter pipeline, and we are going to specify all the tasks by ourselves. This is the YAML editor. When we freshly create a repository, it won't show us the help bar. There should be a help bar on the right side, which will list all the tasks which we can reuse. So what we'll do, we'll just click on save and done, and we are going to edit this pipeline after the pipeline is created. Just go to the build and let this particular pipeline run. It's not going to do, it's just a starter pipeline. Just click on the edit button, and we will edit this particular build pipeline. Now as you can see, we are getting all the task list over here, which is installed in your organization. We can remove all the starter task, the sample task which we got as a part of the starter template. Let's add a couple of tasks. As our application is .NET Core, we have to select the .NET Core task, and we have to say we want to build this particular .NET project. And the second thing is, like, we have to give the path to the project. We'll give the generic path. We'll say find any CS proj in our project, in our repository, and it's gonna go and scan all the CS proj file in our repository, and it's gonna build those projects. There are a couple of things we can specify as a part of .NET build CLI command. We can say what should be the configuration. So we can say -c, and we can say release configuration. Just click on add, and by this we have added a task which is gonna build our project. Now let's add a task which will publish our project as a zip, so that we can take that and deploy into the Azure. So we again select the .NET Core task, but this time we are going to select the command as publish, and we can give the argument as a output, and here we have to give when the project is published, where do you want to keep the zip package. Azure DevOps comes with a lot of built-in variables, and we are gonna use one of the variable which is called build artifact staging directory. It's a directory where we can put any temporary files. So what I'll do, I'll copy that particular command over here. So it's gonna output our package into the build artifact staging directory inside the web folder. And after selecting all this command, we just have to click on add. Now we are almost completed our build pipeline. The last step will always be publishing this web folder to somewhere. So in our case, we are gonna publish this to a build artifact area which comes with the Azure DevOps build pipeline. So what I'll do, let's click here and search for publish artifact, publish build artifact, and we are just gonna it will ask a couple of option for us to where we want to publish this package. Either we can publish it to a file share, but in our case we are just going to publish it to Azure pipeline. Just click it and click on add, and this publish location container, we can just remove it. We don't want it. We will just select the default area which Azure DevOps is giving us, and we can click on the save button, and this will commit this particular build pipeline directly in the master branch, and we will save it. As soon as we save this file will be checked into our Git repository, and as we have a trigger, we can see automatically build would be triggered for this particular changes. And as we can see, it's gonna build our application, it's gonna publish our application, and then it's gonna publish our build artifacts. Let's give it a couple of minutes to build this project, and we should see the output of the project once this is done. As this is taking some time, let's go meanwhile and prepare our release pipeline, which is often called as a CD pipeline, which will take this artifact, build artifact, compile artifact, and it's gonna push to Azure. Just click on the release pipeline. Our build is also completed. So if we click on the artifact and go to drop folder, you can see a package inside a web folder which will contain our compile code. Let's click on the release pipeline, and so far we don't have any release pipeline, but before creating a release pipeline, we need a service connection which will connect to Azure. So as you can see here, I have this resource group where one of my web application is there, and this application is it's pretty empty. We don't have anything over here. In order to Azure DevOps to connect to this particular Azure subscription, we have to create a service connection. For that, click on the project setting and click on the service connection. You can see it in the pipeline option, and here we can create a lot of we can create a service connection for a lot of other services. As you can see, we can create it for Docker, we can create it for GitHub, we can create it for Kubernetes, but in our case we are gonna select Azure Resource Manager because we are about to deploy on Azure. If you are logged in with the same account, then it automatically suggests you the subscription as well as the resource group. So for example, I'm just gonna give this particular service connection a name, Azure subscription, and I'm gonna select the scope label to resource to subscription, and we can select the resource group as well. If we don't select any resource group, the scope will go to the subscription level. If we select any resource group, the subscription, the scope will shift to that particular resource group. So I don't want to sign in so that it will list my all the resource group. I'm just gonna give the scope to subscription level. Allow all the pipeline to use this connection. Click OK. Again, it's asking for my credential. I'm just gonna give it. And it's gonna ask for my two-factor authentication. I'll approve it. Behind the scene, it will go and create a service principal which will have application ID and application secret, and using that service principal, Azure DevOps is gonna connect to Azure. So as you can see, we have created this service connection which is connecting to directly our Azure subscription, and we will have all the access for that particular subscription. So let's go to pipeline and create a release pipeline. Click on new pipeline. We can select the empty job, as we are going to specify all the tasks which we have to deploy, and we can rename this particular stage to dev and just close this window. We have to specify a release pipeline from where we have to get the artifacts which we want to deploy to either Azure or any other cloud providers. Click on the add artifact, and there are a couple of options to get the deployment artifact. Either we can get it directly from the Azure repository, GitHub, Azure artifact, GitHub release, and a couple of other options. But in our case, we are going to get it from a build. So I'll click on the source type as a build. My project is YouTube, and the source, it will list down all my build pipelines. So currently I only have one build pipeline, which is .NET Core app. I'm going to select it and leave everything as a default option and just click on add. Now we have to define, we have defined the stage which is a dev, but we have to the stage is empty. We have a zero task over here, so we have to define the task, what we want to exactly do. Azure DevOps comes with a lot of predefined supported tasks. It has tasks to deploy to Azure and other cloud providers, even for SQL Server and on-premises. So we are just gonna say Azure App Service Deploy, because we are gonna deploy to App Service. Here we have to define a couple of options. First is Azure subscription. If you click on this particular arrow, you're gonna see the Azure subscription service connection which we have created recently. The second, we are just gonna select the app service type. This app service is on Windows, so we are gonna select web app on Windows, and we have to give the app service name. We can just grab this app service name and we'll give it here, and then we have to select the package, which package we want to deploy. If you have a single package, it's going to scan your build artifacts and grab that package, but we can also specify a specific package if you have multiple packages. Just go to drop web and select s.zip. This is the build package which we have generated through our build pipeline. Click OK and then click on save. And now we are good to we can also edit this pipeline. We can say .NET Core app cd and then we can save it again. Now we are ready to create our release, which is gonna take our package from that particular build and gonna deploy to Azure this particular app service. And we should see the sample application over here. As you can see right now, it's pretty empty. Click on create release, and currently we only have one stage. We can, if we have a multiple build, we can select the build version from this drop down. We are gonna, by default it's gonna select the latest build artifact. So we have the latest build artifact, this is the version, and we are just gonna click on create. As you can see, the release one has been created and we can monitor that release and see if our application is successfully deployed to Azure or not. It might take a couple of seconds to get the package and deploy to app service. As we can see, it's successfully deployed. Now let's go and refresh this particular app service. I grab the URL from here and just refresh it, and we should see our application. So as you can see, we got the package ASP.NET sample application from Azure repository. We created a build which will build that particular application and give us the build artifact, and using release pipeline we took that artifact and deployed to Azure app service. As you can see, we can click and you can see that it's the same application. Next time if you make any changes to that application, you just have to commit those changes, and those changes will be automatically deployed to this particular app service. Thanks for watching and have a great day.